This is MRN Outloud on MRN.com, presented by Bloomin' Mondays at Outback Steakhouse. And also brought to you by Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength.
Hey everybody, welcome to MRN's Out Loud, presented by Outback Steakhouse. Ralph Sheheen and my buddy Rocko Williams ready to go. Yeah, we know we're not the ones that are normally here, but everybody's scattered around the country. Half of them are coming back from Road America, half of them coming back from Canada, and we were already in town, so you and I got the gig. So no free Bloomin' Onion this week, unfortunately, for those of you that love Bloomin' Onions like Rocco does, because there was no cup race this weekend, so that meant Kevin Harvick couldn't finish in the top 10. No Bloomin' Onion. But we do have a lot of good stuff to talk about.
Oh, yeah, we do.
Yeah, and I want to dive right into this. I want to get this thing from 0 to 100 right away. So here's the deal. You know, at these two road courses, at Road America and Canadian Tire, up there, the old Mosport, up there in outside of Toronto, pit lane is a little bit different for these guys, right?
Absolutely.
A little tough. So the XFinity teams and the truck teams, and they really had to work. Now, what I wanted to tell you was, if the Formula One guys are put in those racetracks, dude, it'd have been no problem.
Ralph, is this the way we're going to start the show, Ralph? This is what you're trying to do. We're trying to fill in for our buddies, Woody.
Yeah. So you guys have to understand.
Like this.
You guys have to understand. Just before we got started doing the show, they were telling me, "Hey, you just want to get under Rocco's skin. Just mention Formula One pit stops, and you know how much better they are." Which it's not even close. It's and
you did that.
You can't compare Babe Ruth and Hank Aaron, right? But I just tried to do that just to get you going.
No, Ralph, you're right on point with that and what you're saying. Not only did you have the Cup teams off this weekend, the final off weekend of the year, so these guys are going to go straight through to the playoffs. But not only that, with these races being standalone races, you had trucks in Canada, and you had the XFinity series at Road America, and they're doing backward stops. So
now explain in your mind what you mean by a backward stop, because to people that race at those circuits on a regular basis, it's pretty normal pit lane.
Yeah, it's just like how it sounds. The car is coming in backwards from what we're used to. You know, the car usually comes from, if you're looking at the track, from the right to the left. But at these road courses, the car is coming from the left to the right. So turn one, it's backwards, it's opposite. And there's a lot of choreography that goes into perfecting that type of pit stop. But with most of the Cup teams on vacation for the off week, it's slim pickings for who's going to staff these teams. You know, of course, your upper echelon XFinity teams, your upper echelon truck teams are going to make sure they get the top talent to these races. They're going to make sure they pay these Cup guys enough. Hey, instead of going to the beach, come out here and help us out. At the same time, you have athletes that pit the Cup Series who take no time off during the weekend.
Right.
You know, during the season. It is what it is. They were working, and usually those teams had most success at those standalone races when you have the Cup Series, the Premier Series off like you do.
So let's say we're at an XFinity race at Vegas, okay? And a normal pit stop would be?
Normal pit stop would be on the XFinity Series, 13 to 14 seconds.
Right, okay. So then we go to a place like Road America where we're pitting backwards, as you say. It's going to add, another second or two?
I would say 2 to more, 16 to 18 seconds. And for those teams that do not utilize Cup teams who are used to accommodating the backward stops, we're talking about 19 to 20 to 25 seconds. And don't throw adjustments in there. These are ideal situations for, 4 tires, no adjustment. But it seemed like those cars were a handful in the speedy parts of these road courses, and you have to make adjustments. So we're looking at upwards from 18 to 23 seconds just to make adjustments with teams unfamiliar with this type of pit stop.
Yeah.
So they had to be on the A game. Good thing was that you had drivers, I prefer to pit those cars of the drivers that are dominating. At a road course, a big Road America course like it is at Road America, is 4 miles, I believe. Comes with fuel mileage plays a game. You're not doing a lot of pit stops. You're usually jumping the caution flags to come in and pit tires, and when you do, you're only coming in once or twice. That plays right into the hands of those teams who do not have those high efficiency pit crews because it doesn't really matter as much as long as you have a wheelman behind the car who can make up the difference for those pit stops.
Yeah, and a guy like Christopher Bell certainly did that, didn't he?
You think?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. He did, and not only him, Moffitt as well.
Yeah, yeah.
He ran away with it.
And that's the other thing Bell is not really a road course guy.
Exactly.
It's not where he came from, but Christopher has adjusted quickly. We're going to have a chance to talk with Christopher Bell here, hopefully in the next segment. He's going to be calling in. And then Brent Moffitt, man, the way he's attacking the truck playoffs.
Yes.
There's going to be a lot of nervous people over there.
2 races in, he already won the first race in Bristol. So he's 2 for 2. And if I'm not mistaken, I read something like since the playoffs had started, he was on a 2-win playoff race last year. So he finished the year out with 2 wins. And then he started in the playoffs this year with 2 wins. So he's 4 wins in a row in the playoffs. I mean, that's beast mode all the way.
Yeah, that's pretty strong. And, now they go Vegas with the trucks, I think, next, right?
Yes.
So you went to Bristol, then you went to Canadian Tire, and now you're going to Vegas. 3 very different racetracks, and Moffitt not missing a beat.
Yes. He and Chastain are ones that I watch the most because they seem like the type that they can adapt to any situation. Not only is his mustache adapting to the time he's in, which I wish he was shaving.
That's a whole nother conversation, right?
But he's making it do what it do. But at the same time, watching him and Chastain and those are my 2 favorite truck drivers at the time because they seem good everywhere they go and have a chance to win wherever they go. And pit crew guys love that. As a pit crew athlete, no matter what series you're in, Xfinity, Truck, or the Premier Series, Cup Series, if you show up to that track having a chance to win, it feels great. And that's what drivers like Moffitt and Christopher Bell provides to those athletes who service those tires. They provide you with the chance to win each and every time they get behind that wheel.
They sure do. And secretly, you watch every Formula One race, don't you?
We're not going Lewis Hamilton. That's the only one I watch.
Well, that's like everyone. The guy wins almost every week.
That's all I watch, Lewis Hamilton.
He's unbelievable. Speaking of unbelievable, Christopher Bell's on the phone, so we're going to have him when we come right back after this.
I have big news.
That Bojangles is now adding melty cheddary pimento cheese to their Cajun filet biscuit?
Yeah. Bojangles made the perfect biscuit even perfecter. How'd you know?
You're eating one right now.
Good point.
2 Southern greats that taste great together. Try Bojangles Cajun Filet Biscuit with our new pimento cheese. Only here for a limited time. Bojangles. It's bow time, y'all.
Here's your chance to win a set of your very own Hercules tires. Go to HerculesTires.com/MRN. Simply register, and each month we'll give away 1 set of tires. Hercules Tires has the value, selection, and industry-leading mileage coverage to get you wherever you need to go, no matter where the road takes you. Register now for your chance to win a set of Hercules tires at HerculesTires.com/MRN. Hercules Tires. Ride on our street.
G'day, America. It's the moment you've all been waiting for. That's right, Outback Delivery is here. Now you can enjoy all your Outback favourites anywhere. Our signature centre-cut sirloin at home.
It's here.
Or game day party platters with Kookaburra wings that'll have both teams cheering.
It's here.
Or steak and lobster for a date night at home.
It's here.
Head over to Outback.com and place your orders because Outback Delivery is here. Outback Steakhouse. Aussie rules. Delivery availability varies. Delivery charge may apply.
Welcome back, MRN Outloud, presented by Outback Steakhouse. This week is Bojangles week here at MRN as we head down to Darlington for the Bojangles Southern 500, one of the biggest races of the season, of course. Now, we want you to head to Bojangles for the new Cajun filet biscuit with their new pimento cheese. Rocco has been all over it, and he's been talking about it nonstop. For breakfast, lunch, and dinner, stop at Bojangles. It's bow time, y'all.
Even a little snack as well. That pimento cheese is hitting.
Can't get enough of it, can you? I'll tell you one thing about this past weekend. Christopher Bell was on fire at Road America, and he joins us now. Christopher, welcome to the show.
Hey, man. Thank you for having me on.
Hey, listen, in watching the race from turn 6 all the way around to Canada Corner, you were just dominating in that last segment. And that is a very, very technical part of the racetrack. If you just look at a Google Earth map of the racetrack, especially through the carousel, it looks pretty simple, and the kink doesn't look like much. But if you've ever driven it, you know it is really challenging. Why were you finding so much speed there in that final stage?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. Ever since I started road course racing, the heavy brake zones have been my struggle point, and I still think that is my struggle point. But for whatever reason, that section on the racetrack, by the time you leave turn 6, there is getting into 8, you have to stop pretty hard. But the carousel and the kink, man, that's always been really good to me. And my race car was really, really good. That thing was as fast as XFinity internet through there.
Chris, this is Rocco talking. Hey, really wanted to talk to you about your mentality prior to that race. You know, when I look at the sheet on who's in this race, you have AJ Allmendinger in there. You have Austin Cindric. You know, they ball out on those road courses. You, with your first win at Road America, how did you enter that race? Did you see their name on a list and circle it? Or did you say, okay, I'm going to do what I best? How did you enter that race mentally, you know, before you started that race?
Yeah, I mean, road course racing has never really been my forte. So going there, I mean, we've been pretty fast at Watkins Glen and Mid-Ohio. So going there, I think we expected to be competitive. Did I expect to win the race with all those guys running? Probably not. But then whenever I showed up in practice, we were really good right off the truck. And I'm not a good enough road racer to make the car better in practice. So those guys just did an excellent job. My Team 20 group did an excellent job getting our Root Supra prepared for the race. And they brought a really fast Supra to the racetrack. So I'm very fortunate to get to drive for them. And they did a really good job. Our whole road course season here.
You know, the kink there at Road America can be extremely intimidating. Where do you rank that corner as far as most challenging turns that you have to deal with over the course of a season?
It is really tough. The hardest part is the road is really narrow there, and the kink is just enough of a bend where you have to sacrifice throttle time and you have to use a little bit of brake, but it leads on to a straightaway there, and the walls are really close. You got a narrow road with 2 or 3 foot, no, probably 4 foot of dirt in between, and then concrete walls. So there's not a lot of wiggle room there if you get off course and you're trying to go through there as hard as you can. You got a lot of speed built up by the time you get there, so it's a very easy place to crash. We saw a lot of guys crash, and I even drove off the racetrack there late in the race. But it's a really fun corner because it's really rewarding, and there's a lot of time to be made there if you can hustle it hard.
See, Bell, I just want to take the time to say, first of all, I don't know if you realize this, but every one of your crew members appreciates the opportunity you give them by putting them in a chance to win a race. Now, with that being said, when you go to Road America and you know you're going to be confronted with these backward stops, how involved are you in the preparation with getting everything right, making sure you hit your marks right, making sure you have everything? Are you versed in how important you are to tenths of a second and slowing the stop down or not? Or what is your pre-race preparation like as far as it relates to pit stops and doing what you need to do to make sure that they can do what they have to do?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just the preparation for the crew members themselves. For me, and I think the majority of us drivers, whenever we go to Watkins Glen, that's our first race with the backward stop.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a pretty big focus point on making sure that you don't get too close to the wall, because it's really easy to do to get your right side too close to the wall where the jackman can't jack the car up. But aside from that, once you get out of Watkins Glen, you kind of get in a rhythm there, and Road America flows pretty easily. So it's probably more so a transition on the team members than it is the drivers. But like you said, it's very important for us to focus on making sure that we nail our marks whenever we get into pit road.
You mentioned that road course racing isn't your normal, natural forte, which of course is traditional dirt, open wheel, and sprint car midget racing. But the way you were driving the car yesterday or over the weekend, drifting through the corners, it seemed very much like a loose driving style, similar to what we would see you doing on the dirt. Are you purposely setting up the race car to allow yourself to do that because you're more comfortable with that? Or was that just the way you were attacking, for example, the carousel?
Man, Road America, the surface there is really, really unique compared to the other road courses we go to. It almost gives me a little bit of a homestead feel because the track is really slippery, and whenever it gets rubbered up, the track gets greasy, and you can really slide around there. So especially through the carousel, leaving the carousel, my car was pretty loose, but I was able to kind of put the car in yaw there and create grip in order for me to get really good forward drive. So it was a lot of fun. The carousel is one of my favorite corners in the road course deal, just because the surface is really slippery. It gets greasy. You can slide the car through there and kind of manipulate the car to get the feel you need.
Let me ask you this, and you can keep it 100 with me, Christopher Bell. When did you know you won the race? Was it after you passed Allmendinger on the restart? Was there, as you got closer on that last lap, or did you never reach that point at all? Or are you the type that just hangs on to the very moment, you don't claim it? But was there a point at any time where you're like, okay, I have this in the bag, this is going down?
Man, that's a good question, and I'll tell you what, that entire last run, whenever Allmendinger was behind me, I did not think I had it won whatsoever. He's a great road racer, and he was pushing me really hard. There were a couple times where I'd start slipping and sliding, and I'm like, man, I just got to slow down here. Got to slow down, hit my marks. And then whenever I would slow down, he would really catch me. And you can't, on road courses, especially in the braking zones, you cannot be easy into the corner because you give up so much time. So I knew that I just had to focus and put all my, all my skill set forward and try and just maximize everything and do the best I could. With that being said, once we had that yellow flag and I got a really good jump on the restart and I saw that AJ Allmendinger wasn't behind me, I felt pretty confident in that point because I felt like I could take it easy the last two laps as long as the yellow didn't come out again. So once I got the jump on that last restart and I got a little bit of a gap, I felt pretty confident.
Christopher, I can't get you on the line here and not bring up a dirt track question with you. BC 39, are we going to see you on the dirt track in a midget at Indy?
Absolutely. I can't wait to get there.
All right. We look forward to having you there at the BC 39. Congratulations on a tremendous win this past weekend.
Thank you.
All right. Christopher Bell joining us here on MRN's Out Loud. Rocco and I will be right back after this.
G'day, America. It's the moment you've all been waiting for. That's right. Outback Delivery is here. Now you can enjoy all your Outback favourites anywhere. Our signature centre cut sirloin at home.
It's here.
Or game day party platters with kookaburra wings that'll have both teams cheering.
It's here.
Or steak and lobster for a date night at home.
It's here.
Head over to Outback.com and place your orders because Outback Delivery is here. Outback Steakhouse. Aussie rules.
Delivery availability varies. Delivery charge may apply.
It wasn't just built to be a museum. It was built to be a shrine to the history, heritage, and future of the sport we love. This is our house, the NASCAR Hall of Fame, and it's packed full of classic and present-day cars, including Petty's, Earnhardt's, and Waltrip's, as well as interactive experiences, realistic racing simulators, and much more. Plan a trip to the NASCAR Hall of Fame in Charlotte. Tickets at NASCARHall.com. NASCAR Hall of Fame. This is our sport. This is our house.
Jeff Gordon has come from virtually nowhere.
He's one of NASCAR's all-time greats.
For the 93rd time in his career.
A pioneering champion.
Be at the right place at the right time.
The kid who took on the good old boys and changed NASCAR.
We started to go toe-to-toe from Earnhardt.
MRN presents a 10-part podcast series that traces Jeff Gordon's rise to NASCAR legend. Jeff Gordon, the colorful career of the Rainbow Warrior. Available now at MRN.com and your favorite podcast source.
Welcome back, MRN's Out Loud, presented by Outback Steakhouse. Unfortunately, no free lemon onion ring. We didn't have a cup race, so Harvick didn't get in the top 10. But we do have free tires for you.
Yes, we do.
Yeah,
that's
free tires
every single month.
How about that? From our friends at Hercules, giving away a free set of tires every month, as Rocco pointed out. Register by going to HerculesTire.com/MRN. Yeah.
To get your free set of tires. Hercules tires at that. We all, I have a value for tires, being a pit crew aficionado that I am. I don't know about you, if you value tires like I value them, but
I do. In fact, I desperately need a new set on my car right now.
You better go register.
Down near the cords there. Yeah, I've been screaming to my crew chief, I need tires for quite a while. Yeah, he just keeps not calling me in. The other thing is, of course, it's Bojangles Week here at MRN. It's getting ready for Darlington.
Yes.
Going to be so cool. The Southern 500, all those throwback paint schemes coming. Head over to Bojangles. You got to get there fast because Rocco's always at the front of the line trying to get that Cajun filet biscuit with the pimento cheese on it. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. And stop at Bojangles. Bow time, y'all.
You know it. Hey, let's talk racing again. Let's talk.
You want to do that?
Yeah, let's go to Canada. Let's talk about Brett Moffitt and the trucks. It was very impressive what he did in Canada. I mean, winning by 5 seconds. It's a bit of a snooze fest for us watching it, but I mean, we can't devalue what it takes to do that.
No.
We can't.
Have you been to that circuit?
I have, and I would say 2 times. I've been there for the truck series.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where I don't go every single year.
Yeah.
So it's easy to lose it in translation. But the one things that stand out is just how scenic it is. Like, that is a beautiful racetrack. And one of the things that stand out is you walk across that water to the garages at one time when I went. And it's very scenic. It's very beautiful that you get lost and a bit distracted a little bit that, hey, we're here to go to work.
Yeah, it's a legendary road course. All the major circuits have competed up there, including Formula One. It was a big Formula One track back in the day. It's outside of Toronto. You're a good ways outside of Toronto to get there. But when you do, you better bring your A game because it is a very challenging layout. It's got one of the slowest road course corners you'll find anywhere at the far end up at Moss. And then you get that Andretti straightaway where you're nudging 170 miles an hour. We got to whoa back down again for that little chicane, then over to 10, which, as we saw again yesterday, a calamity corner, right?
Yeah.
There's always stuff happening there, especially at the end of stages and at the end of the races.
It would be safe to say that your drivers who utilize that track on a more consistent basis, your Canadian drivers might have more success there. And
Alex Tagliani
finished second there, right behind Brett Moffitt at the same time. I haven't seen Alex Tagliani race that much. Have you? I mean, what do you know about him?
Yeah. No, I've watched Tag come up through the ranks into Indy cars and all that, and tremendous wheelman. I mean, he can really get it done. And I know it's driving him crazy that, he wants to win this race so bad in his home country.
Home country,
and it got right there again. And then a guy like Moffitt comes along, and there's nothing you can do about that.
It's not just Moffitt, it's that team, that GMS team. It seems like when it comes to the truck series, they bring trucks prepared to win. Every time they've entered a truck in, they have the propensity to win. So when you add a talent like Brett Moffitt, maybe if you put Tagliani in one of those trucks, he might have had better success. So that might have been a difference maker, was what I'm trying to say, is that GMS brings really, really strong trucks to the racetrack. So when you have talents like you do with Brett Moffitt, he can power that mustache to victory lane fairly easily, right?
Yeah, even with the aerodynamic disadvantages of having it, right? We were talking about the kink at Road America and how uncomfortable it is when you're inside the cockpit trying to deal with the kink because you are coming straight at that wall.
Yeah.
I mean, you are going, I've driven it, I've raced it. You were going straight at that wall, just hoping, oh God, please let this thing turn. But the corner like that at Mosport, I always want to call it Mosport, Circuit, Canadian Tire, excuse me, Ron Fellows, who owns the track now. Canadian Tire, the big sponsor up there, owns their name on the racetrack, is at the bottom of the hill there. 3, same thing. It doesn't have that wall that you're going into it, but the compression as you go down through there, we've seen some really big crashes there in the past. And that's the corner where the driver really has to gut up to get through there.
So you think that's the difference maker in what sets the drivers apart from each other? Who handles that kink the best? As
kink at Road America really gets you. At Canadian Tire, I don't know if, ironically, it's probably that really slow corner up at Moss. That really is the difference maker. Christopher Bell pointed out how the kink can be the difference maker of Road America, because if you can get through there, you can carry a lot more speed, right? And you can gap a guy. As slow as that one corner is, I think it's turn 5 is the actual number on it, at Canadian Tire, if you get it wrong, you are dead going down Andretti. And you got to have the speed there. And if you don't get out of that corner well, you're not going to have that speed.
Ralph, we're failing to mention that the playoffs has started for these truck teams.
Yeah.
This is the second of the second race for these trucks. You know, I think they finished out in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
For the first round.
Yeah.
So with that being said, with Moffitt winning at Bristol, winning now, you know, he's 2 races in of the third. I think he's safe. We all know he's safely through the next round. What's interesting is Infinger watching Thor Sport, you know, watching those trucks battling at Las Vegas for that final spot, you know, for those final spots, because that's the last race before we eliminate again in Las Vegas.
And Alex Tagliani took some points from some guys this weekend with that second place finish. That some guys going into Vegas are going to go, I really could have used those.
Let's see where we are in standings right now as far as the truck series is concerned. And the playoff grid, you have Moffitt in first. You have Chastain right behind him. You have Friesen, Kraft, and Hill and Infinger. That's your 6 before the cutoff in Vegas. And right on the outside, you have a champion driver in Johnny Sauter right there, which is 2 points behind. And you have Ankrum right there trying to get in for that final spot at Vegas. So I'll be definitely watching for those for those drivers as we head to Las Vegas because it's going to be intense.
And don't forget about old Crafty. Matt Crafton sitting back there in 4th.
You're right.
5 out right now.
Absolutely.
The veteran, the wily old veteran as he is now. I mean, you know, former champion.
Yep.
Guy can get it done.
We're going to be in Vegas. I might put my money on Vegas, on Crafton to make it in there on that final.
Be a smart bet right now. It wouldn't be a bad bet.
Absolutely.
Wouldn't be a bad bet. All right, we're going to come right back and wrap up our show. MRN's Out Loud after this.
I have big news.
That Bojangles is now adding melty cheddary pimento cheese to their Cajun filet biscuit?
Yeah. Bojangles made the perfect biscuit even perfecter. How'd you know?
You're eating one right now.
Good point.
2 Southern greats that taste great together. Try Bojangles Cajun Filet Biscuit with our new pimento cheese. Only here for a limited time. Bojangles. It's bow time, y'all.
The race to the championship is coming through Phoenix. It's the 2019 NASCAR semifinal race weekend at ISM Raceway. Now it's more personal than ever after a $178 million modernization project that gets you into the infield, into the garages, and even closer to the cars and drivers. The 2019 NASCAR semifinal race weekend at Phoenix's ISM Raceway, November 8th, 9th, and 10th. This time, it's personal. Lock in your seats early at ismraceway.com.
G'day, America. It's the moment you've all been waiting for. That's right, Outback Delivery is here. Now you can enjoy all your Outback favourites anywhere. Our signature centre-cut sirloin at home.
It's here.
Or game day party platters with kookaburra wings that'll have both teams cheering.
It's here.
Or steak and lobster for a date night at home.
It's here.
Head over to Outback.com and place your orders because Outback Delivery is here. Outback Steakhouse. Aussie rules.
Delivery availability varies. Delivery charge may apply.
Welcome back, MRN Out Loud. Ralph Sheheen, Rocko Williams with you. We're ready to go here and talk a little bit about Darlington. You know, in all these stick and ball sports, they do throwbacks.
Yes.
You know, Major League Baseball this past weekend did the all black versus all white uniforms. Everybody's looking for different ways of. You like that one? Did you like the all black versus the all white?
Anytime we have a chance to just put on a different uniform what you're used to, I love it. It's all about your swag. It's all about your drip. It's how you're looking, man. And you look good, feel good, play good. I live by that.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
So
for NASCAR, it's this weekend at Darlington with the throwback paint schemes. If you had to pick one throwback paint scheme, period.
I can't pick one.
Yeah, no, you can.
All right.
There's 2.
All right, Ralph.
There's 2. There's 2.
All right, let's go to MRN.
No. Just first week, just the 2 legendary paint schemes. Come on.
Okay, I'll go with the 43.
There's one.
I'm gonna go with 43, and I'll go with
Goodwrench 3.
The number 3. Yes.
I mean, that black, oh, man, that was
you can't go wrong
so
with that.
simple,
You're right.
but so awesome, right?
You're right.
Now, you can see all the
You're right.
current paint schemes that are going to be run this weekend at Darlington. Just go to MRN.com. They're all there.
Mm-hmm.
We've been scrolling through them during the commercial break. Some of the highlights, looking forward to. Brad Keselowski has the old school Rusty Wallace Miller look where he had the black, but then he had the red, the blue, and the yellow. That's pretty sharp. I remember that car.
Yep. Chase Elliott is driving the number 9. He's throwback is paying homage to his father. For Bill Elliott, the car that he drove in 1981 by his George Elliott. I'm sorry, by racing for his father, George Elliott. So Bill Elliott drove, the car that Bill Elliott drove for his father, George.
Right.
I never knew his father's name, George.
Yeah,
That's
it's
really
a,
right.
it's
But
a
that looks
long,
good. It's all blue with the white stripe down the middle. What else do you like?
Well, they've been paying tribute, of course, to Darrell Waltrip all year as DW has stepped out of the broadcast booth and really retiring now. So Denny Hamlin's doing a throwback to one of DW's most famous paint schemes with the chrome numerals down the side and the multi-shades of white and gray into black with the orange. That's a good-looking car.
Kyle Busch and his throwback in the 1990 paying homage to Bobby Hillin in that Snickers car. That Snickers 18 looking really good.
Made you hungry every time it went by.
Yeah.
Right?
That Snickers.
William Byron's doing Days of Thunder.
Yep.
Cole Trickle.
Oh, man. Where were you at when you saw that movie?
Movie theater.
Do you remember where in life were you at when you saw that
I was of course working in the Cup Garage, pit reporting back then. That would have been the TNN days way back when they were filming that movie.
Yep. See,
it was all over, and they were all over Charlotte, all over Mooresville. The barn up there in Mooresville, right across the street from the YMCA's where they did the famous barn scene. I mean, it was everywhere. That was big here when that was going down.
I thought it was a true story when I watched it.
Well, a lot of it was true.
I mean,
there was a lot of true parts in it.
There
like
really
when
was.
Hey, I need to pit for tires. Now we're eating ice cream. That's all true.
I know. I didn't realize that until I started working at Hendrick Motorsports.
Yeah.
And I got the story firsthand on where that came about, and Chad Canals was the one that hired me, so I heard that story firsthand from him.
Sure.
So it's kind of fitting that he's the one bringing that back now that he's on the 24 car at Darlington, so I'm pretty sure that's special for him.
I think we both know which one is the most emotional car.
Yeah.
Of the throwback paint schemes, right?
Yeah, that would be where do you want to go with that one?
The Bubba Wallace car.
Yeah, absolutely. And that means a lot for more than one reason. Just because they're paying homage to Victory Junction Gang, first of all, and just the work that Victory Junction does
it's
for
incredible.
those at-risk kids and the kids that are having issues that they would not overcome. I volunteered at Victory Junction Gang when I worked for Petty's. Every Tuesday I was there. Every other Tuesday we were helping out. So seeing them paying homage not only to Victory Junction Gang, but to Adam Petty. And I think that was his ARCA series car, if I can find it. I mean, it looks really good. And, any crew member in the sport, when they see that car, it's going to resonate with them because they've, not only me, but we all put a lot of time and energy and love into that Victory Junction Gang camp.
It's in a remarkable place if you've ever had the chance to visit. It truly is incredible what the Pettys have done there. And this is a paint scheme that Adam won the ARCA race at Charlotte back in 1998.
Yep.
So that's a really cool look. How about Jimmy Johnson's? It just came out, I think, today. They just released the pictures of it. And it's similar to the trophy truck that Jimmy, who's an old desert rat. I mean, Jimmy grew up racing dirt bikes and mini bikes out in the desert, and out all around El Cajon and all that in Southern California. And he spent a lot of time racing off in the desert. And before he became big-time Cup Series champion and 7-time going back to his dirt roots.
I have to give it one more that I'm really like, and I just saw this one. Ryan Newman in the number 6 Oscar Mayer Ford pays homage to Mark Martin in his 1993 scheme. Why I say Mark Martin? Because I won with Mark Martin at Darlington at the Southern 500 in his last years at Hendricks. So Mark Martin. Once I saw that and they're paying homage to Mark Martin, that might become my new favorite in that number 6 because we all love hot dog wieners. We like eating them, but it looks pretty decent. Doesn't look too bad. They have the little hot dog car with them too as well.
The Wienermobile?
The Wienermobile. That's what it's called.
Yeah, Michael Waltrip is getting a throwback in his honor. Ryan Blaney's Pennzoil Menards car is going to look like the old Bahari racing cars that Michael used to drive.
And you're right, Ralph. That number 3 looks menacing. That black and gold number 3.
Yeah, the black and gold, it looks good. But
looks mean. It looks
It
mad.
does.
It just looks mad.
It does, yeah. Austin Dillon's car.
And then a night race with that black paint scheme,
gonna look
with the
pretty
lights
sharp.
reflecting on it, gold numbers. That's going to look pretty
sharp.
sharp.
Yeah, it's all happening this weekend at Darlington. Of course, don't forget the paint schemes. You can see them on MRN.com. And we had a chance to catch up with Clint Boyer to talk a little bit about racing at Darlington.
Darlington is not good to me. I don't know what we do wrong there, what I do wrong there. I'll just fix it right there. I'll take over from here. Darlington is everything at Darlington. I've always run well there and up front, and everything's going fine. It's one of those tracks where you get down to the end and I can't finish the damn thing. We've got to be able to figure that out because I really do enjoy the challenge of Darlington. That is an extremely difficult track to get around. It's an animal, trying to stay out of the wall. That's obviously first and foremost, but being able to navigate traffic, because you're always in that. Even if you're the leader, you're in traffic. It's a bear. But a lot of fun. I always look forward to going there. I love the aspect, that old school aspect of those fans being, as big as a racetrack is, the infield seems extremely tight. We take the dog out at night and be able to watch people take in our racing, and that's one of my favorite things to do, is cruise around and see how people take our sport and enjoy our sport in different ways. And it's all aspects, right? Some people enjoy family, some people are they're college buddies. They've got a new college crowd down there in 1 and 2 that's super killer for all those guys, throwing a big party for them and having a large time as their school's getting back going. But it's always been a special race and a challenging race, and a lot of fun to go down there as well.
Clint Boyer is going to actually run a paint scheme that resembles Tony Stewart's 2011 championship winning car, the Rev at the Black. So that should be great.
Stuart Haas is running all Tony Stewart paint schemes.
Yeah.
I believe down there. I didn't have a chance to see the other 3.
Yeah.
But that looks good.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty sharp. Well, it's Labor Day weekend, of course, for NASCAR. That means Darlington, Southern 500.
Everyone looks forward to that race. It's going to be a good time.
We're going to enjoy it. We sure hope you do. For Rocco, I'm Ralph. Thanks for watching here on MRN's Outloud.